Thank you for watching here on YouTube live at Blooming Light at Blooming Tribe. If you're logging in live, then you're logging in on Saturday, September the, I want to say the 13th, 2025. It is approximately 6:21 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is in the United States of America, Southeast Texas, specifically Beaumont. If you're logging in at a later date and time, you're a decent being. Thank you for watching. General collective reading message that's already been done. And so we're not going to get into like, typically when I'm doing the reading live, you see me do the whole spiel. But I already did the reading. And there's a tower. There is towers that happen today. Whenever you find this video, by the way, my readings and messages and so forth are timeless. It's something that I have painfully had to learn. Okay, but that's the part of it all, isn't it? You have to journey, and when you start understanding the world of energy, and then how technically, even though it's hard for us to fathom it, everything is happening actually at one time. Okay, but I know, weird, huh? Anywho, so as a collective, it also means that it just depends on how it resonates with you, and it depends on, even if it does, what phases of that you are living out. Okay, because everybody might be in different spaces of it. Okay, at the end of the day, this is not to replace professional medical, any kind of advice, guidance, or treatments. Okay, the disclaimers are on my homepage. At the end of the day, it'll serve us all to be proactive and responsible for our own lives and have a level of groundedness and practicality. I can tell you that even though I'm on this journey, I haven't made decisions ever solely based on a reading. It's a reason for that. Energy can be manipulated by dark practitioners and sorcerers. When you are when you're early in your journey, especially because you have to develop, you got to deal with all of your, the whole spiel. Okay, so ideally your own inner guidance and intuition is already highlighting something, as well as some physical. You see that? There needs to be something, okay? Because otherwise it's like, so you're just gonna sit here and just you're just gonna be believing shit, it's like, no, you can't. Well, I mean, you can do it. I'm just going to say it's ill-advised. In my case, decisions were made on histories that I've had. Okay, I typically, for the most part, it's not lucid or fast and loose with decisions when it comes to making some big time abrupt life altering. Like, I typically like to review myself and look at what my experience is in the situation and with the people or the person. Like, I have to bridge all of that so that I can then go, okay, what is your experience here? See how I'm trying to connect the dots to actual events or actual exchanging versus just my imagination. Anyway, let me get running away. So please, I think I should just say that any of us, and I don't even care if you're on some other journey. I don't care if you're on a religious journey. I don't care if you're just all science and philosophies and stuff. I don't care. I am an advocate of practicality, self-awareness, due diligence, all those things, because at the end of the day, it is you, huh? It's you, it's me. At the end of the day, when we leave what? Churches, services, therapist offices, spiritualists, all of it, it's you. It's you that's got to live out in totality. You see what I'm saying? Whatever that is. So, anywho, the reading. tower today. There was a tower that came in for some karmic energies and a masculine. I don't know if this masculine is a I didn't get that far. If the masculine is a past lover of feminines, or if it's just like an extended friend or family member, but there is a masculine that got news whenever you see this video. And if this is for you, got news today that honorable feminine, she wasn't a part of something. She was, first and foremost, that she wasn't a part of, if her family was toxic, if there was some kind of a scheme, she wasn't a part of it. She had no knowledge about that. That's one side of the read I picked up on. Like, they may have thought that these honorable feminines, because, you know, sometimes if somebody's family, just think about it, play with it. You kind of be like, was they in on some shit, my nigga? Like, whoa. But anyway, so you see what I'm saying? And that's what's fucked up. That's why feminine, listen, honorable feminine is on one. She gonna be on one for the rest of the year. She gonna be on one for the rest of the year, nigga. She on one. Because, you know, it's like these honorable feminists done everything that they possibly could. I tell you what, they done everything they possibly could to separate themselves from toxicity. And they were accused of everything but what the truth actually was about it. Okay? And they've had so many backlashes and angles from everybody, everywhere, when they were never the issue. They were never the issue. It's sad, huh? So this masculine is livid because either one of his friends or one of his family members, somebody, and I don't know, maybe they were involved, maybe they confessed, or they know somebody or something, but it was proof. This wasn't a conversation. This is I think this is why this man is upset, because if it was just a conversation, the man would have been upset maybe, and then kind of would have went in and reflected and go, okay, I got to look into this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is unsettling. This masculine is livid because not only was it the maybe admission of something, the conversation, but then it was like documents, because that's just what came out. Proof, boom, about a legal document. Proof, boom, about a plan, you know, all of this stuff. Somebody could have confessed like they were afraid, you know, depending on what the friend or the family member's involvement was. But they got proof. Like, feminine did not know nothing about this. She was never notified about any of this. She was not notified about any inheritance. She was not notified about any house, any monies. She had no knowledge. This was kept away on purpose. People were paid. And hoping by the time if it all unraveled, that everything that they were doing to her and her children in secret, hoping that by then they would literally be in a mental institution or sick, or, you see what I'm saying, in the hospital or in jail, or like hoping that by way of playing keep away and distractions and getting all these people to do spell work, all these people to come in and be a distraction, all these people to, you know, harass and stalk, like all of the plundering of things and the overwhelm of it all, okay, was to basically get her just to not even think much about it. Because listen, feminines have known, and I think most people knew that feminines have known, okay, something over the years, but again, it's not something that they pushed. They never really did, because they just kind of felt like at the end of the day, you know, the way they were looking at it before was like, well, okay, I mean, it sucks, but you know, at the end of the day, it's done. That's kind of their attitude. And it was kind of in this energy of, yeah, my life could have been better, or my children's life. This is unjust. However, I'm not limited. I'm not limited. I'll just begin again. I'll just build it, you know. It's not okay, but what am I going to do? And the reason why feminists took that stance is because they know their people. And this is something that folks got to catch up with. They took the stand because they know their people. They know, let me tell you something, they know their people. They know the people that they grew up with. They know how they roll. They know. They know because of all the experiences that they've had, you know, that didn't have anything to do with big time money or a house, that people just couldn't be straight with them. They knew their own people had a tendency to be pathological. So they showed a fuck one. When there's, you know, listen, just paint the picture here. When there's been issues, feminine is estranged, you know, she's putting up these boundaries, and, you know, people feel slighted in some kind of way. Feminine knew that motherfuckers wasn't, man. She knew that. What nobody trying to give up no opportunity to have some free shit? Shit. Huh? She know her people. She know her people. So now, why did this come out? I don't know why today there was an event and a proof. I don't know if somebody else got a message, possibly from some of Feminine's family members, which could have put people, like, I don't know, which could have put people on alert. Like, okay, wait a minute, whoa, shit, Because Feminine are throwing curveballs. She's throwing them. She's throwing curveballs. Because she knows what's expected of her. Yep, she knows what's expected of her. And she also knows what people are not expecting of her. So what a lot of the collective feminines are doing is when they're guided. See, they are strategic in a high vibrational sense. They're not harried. They're not a loose cannon. They're not a loose cannon. So they're like, it's about timing and moments for them. And they, you know, feminists had to work on empowering themselves a lot because, again, these types of situations are touchy. So they really had to empower themselves a whole lot. Like they had to, like, okay, fuck it. Whoa. Their feminists like, nah, And let me pause real quick on something that I just learned in life that may not necessarily be, you know, connected to the reading, that might be useful, that it's something I learned due to situations in the workspace, business affairs, just all sorts of things that, you know, what they say, a precautionary tale, huh? Hindsight. So what I learned is like, whoa. When you know that you're dealing with, let's just say that people are looking out for their best interest at any cost, even though they try to pretend like it's a team and, you know, win-win and, you know, yada yada. Huh? When you've come to understand that people are going to say and do whatever they have to make sure that they have the upper hand, to make sure that they have leverage in a situation, okay, they will have a tendency to twist conversations, actual audible, you know what I'm saying, verbal, okay, they will play with that when it all comes out in the wash. And because they will play with that, if it came down to any legalities or any other higher authorities, that this will be something brought into question, and it's in the air. But if you're able, now I know in some cases we don't have a choice but to verbally communicate, but because see, if they're a little narky, even if they're not diagnosed, you're gonna have a headache at the end. You're gonna feel confused. It's a reason for that. You're gonna feel confused, your head gonna hurt, you gonna be and they can get you off topic, they can start twisting and contorting, and it's a trip. It's a trip. They can start that Darbo effect shift, that blame shifting, boom, bitch. It ain't like they push a button. It's not like they go in and say Darbo effect. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's what they are. It's a part of it. Okay. So emails, when possible, and the minimum, the better. I know it's like, well, damn, girl, ain't that kind of clinical and kind of like, exactly. Yep. When you're dealing with these types of situations, you have to know what you want in advance. You have to have that clear in your heart and mind, and you have to have some kind of formulation of words that is clearly stating it and end it right there. Short, sweet, to the point, so that way you ain't dancing back in 1985. You're not, off on a, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, in my Barbie dream house, and it's like, okay, wait, what was that talking about? It's like it's got all mixed up, bitch. So now we cannot. The thing about that is that covers you. It does. However, now here's the caveat is this. We don't get to control the other side of that. Okay, so in terms of how they respond, if they respond, because I've had emails that I've sent to certain people in like business dealings, and I was very specific in like what I was asking, and the replies were evading certain information. And you can clearly see it. So if that particular email were to be pulled up and looked at, and of course, the professionals or whatever, they would see that, okay, that was clearly asked, and that this was responded to, that was responded to, this wasn't. You see what I'm saying? In some cases, you're not going to, like if it's personal. Business, they're more likely to, because again, they too have to cover their side. But like personal stuff like that, they might not. Okay? But sometimes the silence is the answer. I said this the other day. And as it pertains to this reading, sometimes that's that. And, there was such collaborative acts, many people hired and brought on to participate, okay, over time. Okay, they were given, in the end, yeah. And especially if they don't like the person anyway, yeah, shit. Hell yeah, that shit. Icing on the cake, bitch. I don't like them. Plus, I'm gonna get paid. To be terrorists, basically. It's gonna get real interesting at the end of the year, because since whoever the masculine is that got the receipts, they live it. I think they may have contacted, maybe they haven't yet. They might have contacted the family members that basically hijacked and stole. They might have, like, son of a. Because listen, everybody paints these honorable feminines to be, most folks, let me rephrase that, many paint them out to be something that they're not. And it's easy to do. It's easy to do because, feminines, when you're the scapegoat, when you're born into that type of vibe and energy, and that's something that it's a role, and you're this person, it's kind of unspoken. It's not like somebody's going around saying it, bitch. You know what I'm saying? It's this energy, this silent expectation, this silent rule that you are someone that will never close a door. You're somebody that is super understanding and patient and forgiving and tolerant, and you blink at ignorances, and you basically allow people to play in your face and pretend like you don't know that. And people get comfortable with that. They get comfortable with that version. They get addicted to the honorable feminines, but it's not for the reasons that people think. It's an energy. Okay? It ain't about hoo-ha. You can buy that. Okay? You can buy hoo-ha. You can buy that. Okay? That's not it. But people, they do. Not just the romantic. People, like, once they get accustomed to that. Accustomed to not apologizing. Yes, I said that. They get accustomed to not, because a lot of these people really didn't have respect for her. They thought she was less than. And when people don't have respect for you, and when they think that you're less than, it's very unfortunate that many people are this way, but it's the unfortunate truth. When people don't have respect for you and they think that you're less than them, many feel like, whether they're wrong or not, by way of the fact that they think you're less than them. Okay? And they don't have any respect for you, that they don't owe you shit. They don't have to account for their behavior towards you, because to them you ain't shit. Okay? So whether they lied to you, cheated on you, did you dirty, stole from you, sought to kill you and your kids, and sought to basically obliterate you, ruin your life, they don't need to acknowledge it. They don't need to own it. They don't need to apologize for it. And people got used to that way about her, that if she were to, like, go to a family member or to try to talk about it, unfortunately, these structures and these communities are always enabling these abusers. Saying stuff like, well, that's how they are, and and don't let that bother you, and give it to the Lord, and all those things, instead of, no, I don't know. This is toxic. Somebody should stop pretending. So Anyway, so a lot of people got upset. Long story short with that, a lot of folks, you can see where over time that if feminine, you know, at first it was like, oh, they always go off and leave and won't talk to. Feminists ain't never went no, listen, let me just make this part clear too. Even when the feminines were on earlier in their paths, their moments of like separation and, all of that with family, it was never to the magnitude of where they were not talking to them at all. It could be like maybe a month or two or something like that. In some cases, it depends. But it was never to that same magnitude. So feminines being gone for 6 years is not some kind of fickle phase. This is not a tangent, a fit. You know what I'm saying? So people start to feel some kind of way. All I'm trying to say is I can see, and maybe you all can collectively when you come on here, how the abusers were able even to rally all these people and convince, because you had to do what you needed to do to preserve yourself and your children, and that was the top priority. When you discovered that there was something really wicked, weird, and off beyond normal family drama, beyond, because the statements you hear from most people is going to be everybody got a problem. Every family has, you see what I'm saying? So when feminine discover, like, fuck what y'all saying, because you ain't on the receiving end of this shit. Because it's easy to sit back and go there. It is. When you are not the one that is being plummeted. Very easy to do. Especially if the family have like a very strong persona of decency. So feminine, she said, fuck it, because ain't nobody else doing it. They start killing off. Ooh, that's gonna get to the next point of what this masculine. Oh shit. Now I can see now. I see why in this moment, I see it. I can see why there's a lot of nervous energy. See, they didn't want feminines to have anything anyway, anything and anybody. Long have been working against her in that way. Okay? But her leaving was just simply her survival. It was her survival for her health and her well-being, and also her attempt to take responsibility. No matter how robbed she was, or, the added challenges and stuff like that, it's like, okay, it is what it is. Okay, this sucks. But okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to work. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to try to I need to clear my life. I need to get my capacities. I need to get the fog and the confusion. When you come from a life of gaslighters, people always smiling at you with ill will and hidden dishonor, trying to make you doubt reality. People don't even know that shit is abuse. That's why ignorance is dangerous to me. People who don't, it's dangerous to me, because they don't even think nothing of that. They don't even know That's psychological abuse. And that it has a physiological, and if you don't have to take my word for it, I invite you to look into it yourself anyway. Because guess what? That's how you become stronger in your own resolve. It's not going to be because so-and-so told you. Feminines did what they had to do. They got tired of being hurt. They got tired of, people not respecting them, have no regard for their feelings, playing in their face, under the cuff, insults, and just all of the shit. Got tired of that shit. But they use that against her, though. They knew that feminine wasn't going to, because of not knowing who was who. One thing about narcissistic abuse, it makes you question everything. Because of all of the calculated, shit that goes on. So not knowing who's who, who's what, like you just lose sight of that, because especially when people are so enamored or engrossed with the one that you know for sure, especially if you know specifically the ones for sure, with the ones that you know for sure. When people just it make you go hell to the no, like I don't even know, nigga, cause they I don't even know. And then she started coding and shit. She started pattern recognition. She listening to motherfuckers. So they said, there's my word right there. Let's stay fly monkey, house in it first. But they worked that to their advantage, because they knew feminine wasn't going to reach out, at least for a time, that if she really wasn't, because she just did not want to deal with it. And they were banking on that. They were kind of hoping, like, okay, well. The masculine was also given proof and was told about this family's pattern and their addiction and their obsession. Okay? With spell work, with feminine's love life, with like paying people to do shit, and then like threatening them, or like something weird. Like they found out and they got some proofs of like is coming out that they have been investing in basically terrorizing these feminines' lives. Obsessed with her not being able to work and develop, with stopping her development, with stopping her business, with stopping her wish fulfillment, her independence, with stopping people from supporting her. Yep. That they are obsessed with blocking her and blocking her life, and getting people to leave, and causing chaos. Like they got some kind of proof of that. But guess what's funny? Nobody would believe the feminine. Feminine lived it. Feminine got proofs, but not enough for people. You know what I'm saying? Nobody believed feminines. But they got the proof that nope, yes they are. He could also got the proof because it was the devil, and what was that? The devil. It was a few ones. It was the devil, something else. Like I said, that some of them are cults. They're cults. that they're part of cults, and that they are addicted basically to causing feminine pain. Her and her kids doing spell work. And then amping it up by hooking up paying people to block her, so that her development is stopped. To stop her mastery, to stop her wish fulfillment with Eight of Pentacles reversed. Stop people from working with her and teaming with her. Stop her development. Nine of Pentacles reversed. Stop her wish fulfillment. Stop her business. Stop her independence. Stop people from seeing her as worth supporting. Yep. Child. And whoever this masculine is living. The ones, now 3 masculines came out, so I'm curious about that. We had 3 different ones. Now, that's why I'm like, well, who is it then? Because we had a King of Swords, a King of Cups, and it was a King of Swords, a King of Cups, and an Emperor. So I don't, like I said, these could be family members. This could be law officials, government officials. This could be a friend, and it could be some of the feminist past lovers, indeed. Okay, and they were not told. You know, it's kind of like the situation. The thing about narcissists and cults, they're never going to give you all the information. Okay, let me just go ahead and help you with that as a cult survivor. Okay, a part of, and I wasn't a part of what they're a part of. When I say cult survivor, I mean, you know, I was in church that was kind of culty, and you know, my family origins and stuff, they operate as cults. I was never a part of a cult. I never willfully and intentionally signed up for, auditioned for, or, you know what I'm saying, or participated in such. Okay, in fact, the family hid that. Okay, but the thing you all need to know about cults, even if it's not an official cult like these individuals, but anything that operates like that, they're not ever going to give their members all of the information. That's so that they can keep power. You got to understand, it's hierarchy. They have to. That's how they believe. That's what they feel. So they have to keep a level of leverage and control. And the only way they can do that, they can't disclose everything to the members, because then, you see that? When they want to triangulate, when they want to play maybe member against member, or, you know, be able to convince them to do something else, they need certain aspects left out. For an example, these men were given, the men that could have dated feminine possibly were only given so much information, is what I'm trying to say. And since they have a tendency to want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, they typically will try to elude some kind of negative connotation, so that even if these masculines managed, even if they managed to escape and live with their life, because often they don't, but if they manage to escape with their life, that they would be questioning the feminine, even though they did wrong to her, but by way of how they presented things, and since it's an association to feminine, you see it? Because remember, they're always, from the very beginning, painting feminine as something toxic anyway. So all of that confusion, all of that pain, all of the abuse that even these masculines end up experiencing with some of these people, it's all bunched in together. And then feminine along the years, if y'all just play with it, just look back. People see her display her anger. They see her display her wrath. They see her display, because she pissed, because she feels like people been coming for her life. When all of this comes out, she chopping down heads, nigga. She be going off because she's like the audacity. She feels, used and played. And that only further terrifies the masculines. I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm not saying that feminines are supposed to coddle them or anything like that. I'm just simply saying, can you see how they had this to work for them though? Because that's a shock to your system. And we all have different trauma responses, and they are automatic. Did you guys know that? That you don't get to choose, you don't get to push a button. You know what I'm saying? And say, okay, trauma response, I choose fight, fright, flee, fawn, freeze. Right? We don't get to, it's like automatic. So when you're traumatized, whatever your trauma response is going to come online. Okay, until you're able. So these masculines, you see that? You got to first deal with the shock, which is a frequency that has to be transmuted, by the way. You got to deal with the shock. That takes a minute. And then whatever your response is, some of us, it's freeze. It's like, oh my God. Because it's a shock. It's a shock to your system. That's normally my response. And that's kind of dangerous, because I could have been dead a couple times because there was a couple life events I've been in. It's like, bitch, I froze. This was in 2006. I remember that. In front of the apartment that me and my son lived in at the time. It was in a bad neighborhood. Oh no, it was 2004. My bad. Excuse me. This was 2004. I was working at the hospital. I think I was still working at the hospital. Yep. And it was a bad neighborhood. And some rando motherfuckers came driving upside my car. My car was parked on the street. Literally, I remember this. They came driving, y'all, side my car, like that close, yo. I was on the passenger side. I had walked to the car to get some stuff out the car. My son was inside already. And so I was on the passenger side. I was bending down. I was getting stuff. And then as I stood up, all I saw was flickering lights. And I could hear some faint sound, but I couldn't move. My response was freeze. They were shooting. And they was right there. And I was just, my response was freeze. And it was so real. Like, I think it goes into like slow motion or something, because I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't say anything. I just froze. Because it was it was right there. It was not even far. I'm like, okay, flickering lights coming my way. Shooting sounds. Okay. So why did I share this? I was just simply sharing this part because it's like we don't really get to choose our trauma response. I could have been dead, but something came to pick me up. I know this sounds unbelievable, y'all, but I just remember something picked me up and laid me down gently on the ground. I didn't make the move because I couldn't move. So something else did. Something picked me up and laid me down gently on the ground so that I wouldn't get, because I wasn't moving. And it was weird to me because I'm like, well, how did the hell did that happen? When I got up, I'm sitting, I'm still shocked. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? And who did that? Because I didn't. Who picked me up and put me on the ground? So I can see in hindsight that these very different masculines that could have gotten traumatized themselves, maybe. It depends on their trauma response. And I can also see, because of all of the fuckery, because they put spells on these men. You want to be, if you're a part of a cult, I said I was going to do a reading and a teaching or something that says, so you want to be a part of a cult, huh? I sure was. Like, okay, so you want to be a part of a cult? Because it sounds glamorous, bitch. But folks got to understand what you're going into, honey. You can bet your bottom dollar. If their whole expertise is spell work and shit like that, the hell? You know, do you think they're not gonna be doing that to their members? You know, like, so they're putting spells on their people. Okay? They're not going to give you all the information. They're gonna love bomb you, they're gonna bait you, they're gonna get you in, and then they're gonna haze you, and then they're gonna, you know, all those things. So when these masculines or even other people, when they break the circle, like, they got to deal with getting their capacities back, because they've been in the trenches with them. So I can see why it'll be something hard or challenging after stuff like that. It's hard, it's challenging for feminine. Just play with this. If people were to try to come to her exes and stuff like that, and people that's been in that, can you see why that would be a challenge for her? Because these are people who partnered up with other people to cause her harm. So it'll be a challenge. And that's just something we have to go within, use our wisdom and discernment. And you see what I'm saying? Because everybody's been hurt and traumatized in this dynamic. Okay, feminine she was betrayed first by her family and by all of these people who joined them. So the ones that have to initiate would be the ones who did the violation. I do believe that. They are the ones that have to stick their neck out. They're the ones that have to, you know, work through those fears. Okay. Anywho, so let me wrap this up and finish it and see what this masculine that's got this information real quick, like, what is he wanting to do, or what has he done? Because I think he's exposing that these people are fanatical. It says fanatical belief, but they're hypocrites. And that they didn't like that the feminine was liberation on the other side. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things I think he's going to expose, or he already has. Whoever they are, okay? What is this masculine taking action on? He could be taking some action behind the scene or strategizing, because he is livid. He has the proofs that he needs. He's got the receipts. That's some crazy shit. What is he doing? Whoever these masculines are. It came out. That's the first card that came out. Card number 29 breaks down to an 11. Yeah, he's going to expose that these people with their extreme and fanatical, but the fact he's going to reveal the hypocrisy. And he's also going to reveal what was motivating them to do the things, because feminine was liberating herself from them. Yeah. He's remember there's 3 that came out, so I don't know which one of them possibly. King of Cups, King of Swords, or Emperor. So look at 29, 28, catastrophe and haste. Yeah, he's going to reveal that they have been doing this to her for a long time, causing her catastrophe and her having to like haste to make decisions hastily, but that that they were also doing it because of her longevity. He may reveal that this has been happening since she was 29, 28 or 29. Lust and weak wills. He's going to reveal that these people are lustful and have weak wills, and that they prey on those kind of people to do harm to feminine. That they use the lust and the weak wills of humans to cause chaos and conflict with 32. They could have used someone that was 32 years old to cause some kind of lust and to break his will. They could have been, the person that they used could have been 32. Okay, so this fell on my phone. It says malevolent. Yes. Malevolent behavior, 42 on the phone. He may reveal that something feminine could have started doing at 42 or 6, which would be the past, or when she was a child, that these people have been conducting with malevolent behavior towards her, bringing in political figures and shit like that to do fucked up shit. It's hateful. He's going to reveal this malice right here. And it was, yeah, to cause her famine and sickness. Good gravy. Their addiction. And that they do this as a living too. Yeah, to get shit. Yep. In order to get shit. A card number 8. Karmic number. Blessings. To take shit. To get a come up. And to take her shit. To take the collective shit. Yeah. Falsehood. They lied on her. They lied on her on her phone. What she does on the phone. What she does online. Falsehood. Rituals and ceremonies. Yeah, they lied about them being into some of that stuff. And they projected that onto the feminine. So he's planning to bring out the malevolent behavior, the falsehood, the fanatical, hypocritical shit, the lust and weak wills that they play on with people to bring catastrophe. To cause catastrophe. And like they lied, false testimony. People lied, family members lied, 14 here. Yeah. They lied. They're not truthful. We have truth and justice is in the reverse. They lied. And had people that was loyal to this false testimony, 13 energy. And they lied about why something ended. They lied about death. They lied about being into certain things. They lied about the collective being sick. They lied. Yep, famine and sickness. There it is. False testimony, famine and sickness. That could be what that court document is. Because it was a court document. It was Yep, that they gave testimony that they were sick. And they disregarded the rules. So somebody overrode the way you're supposed to deal with that, or they played with it, like intercepting mail, or saying that the person was sick and gave through, like whatever they did, said somebody was dead or dying or something like that. Ooh, child. Inner and outer work. Yeah, that feminine has been doing the inner and outer work. But they did not have protection. It says protection of criminals. So it's going into the reverse. He's planning to bring that down. Because these criminals have been protected, which was fucking up or causing issues. Whatever proof he's got, he know. Loyalty, redemption. Politics, prejudice. He's going to reveal the prejudice. 21. This is what people kept trying to cause endings for her. Prejudice, or people that was upset because of endings and they had prejudices, and then they used that to kind of retaliate. False promises. Spiritual conflicts. Yeah, that these people give false promises. Maybe these people were saying capacity for healing. Yeah. Maybe this is somebody, like I said, that was betrayed and they saw things and they can see based on that these people don't really have the capacity for healing. Destruction of the environment. Feminine's been trying to do that. He may be saying something like they keep promising to leave her alone, or they promise that they are going to change based on whatever it is that they've done to these men, and they never do. Yeah, something to do with dangerous writings. So he's going to reveal about all of that, or that's what he's in the making. Okay, whoever he is, or one of them. The King of Swords, the King of Cups, or the Emperor. Okay. All right, so collective feminine. Whew, girl. I know I got to do some cleansing on me and my son and the cat as soon as I get off of here. I'm going to do some cleansing, some other shiznit. Because it's just, it is what it is. This is my life now. You know? Anything shy of me being dead and under the freeway and holding a tin can, people are going to be sending shit to me and my son either way this goes. So I decided I might as well do me then, because it's not like it's going to stop. It won't stop until they feel like I'm dead. They will be going to town every day, all day, with schemes, with plots, with harassment, with poisons, with spells. And that's what it is. And it's okay. So here's your encouragement, feminine. I know. It's out of this world. I was saying earlier when I did the original read, I was like, shit, this is a movie, bitch. I was like, who I want to play my part, bitch? Because this right here is my own scary movie, bitch. Like, this is a movie. This is a lifetime. I was like, who gonna play my role and shit? I was trying to figure out what actors I want to play my part. Because I'm like, this right here, it's crazy. Oh, look, it says wisdom. learning, joy, art, music. You're being encouraged, 29 energy. Just sing, just dance, yeah, you've learned from these karmic energies for sure. You've learned. You've gained, not that that makes it comfortable, better, and right. Make music about it. Paint, write. Yeah, belief systems. You've gained wisdom from even things about belief systems and structures and those experiences. It says courage, strength, fearlessness or fierceness, family. Yes, you've gained so much courage. Looking back at your past, you're very courageous. Yeah, this constraints, these financial issues and theft, without having support. Yeah. And here's your encouragement. So what does, whatever boundaries people have violated because of your courage and your purpose here. Something's coming through. Healing. Yeah, the power to give and receive. Even, yeah. So you'll be able to open up whatever people have done, you guys, to, because of your courage, to overthrow and overstep your boundaries and violate you. People who did not have respect. Well, some energy is coming in, and just have courage. You'll be able to open up. It says healing, the power to give and receive. That's what I'm talking about. Shit, go stand by a tree, bitch. Woo, earth magic. Fearlessness, removing obstacles. You got this, baby. There's energies, healing energies coming in to support you to navigate. Not that you necessarily need. It's just co-creation, co-collaboration, and it's justice in this case because you were robbed. These were things that was yours. Okay, and also because people have tampered. So it's nothing wrong with support. It's funny how those who have all of the support in the world on a regular basis feel like you don't deserve any of it. Like you don't, isn't that funny? Yeah. So these karmics are being moved. I have divine feminine reverse. I had twin flame reverse. Any of these energies, these obstacles are being cleared. There's healing energy and supportive energy coming in, maybe from the past, some of you. Yeah, decisive focus, decisive focus. Moving through the theft, the loss, the negativity. There's a portal opening. There it is. Magician. Y'all have all of the tools that you need. You're tapping in. Maybe you're going to connect with the Gaia, but there's a portal. Infinite mind. Consciousness here. Miracles. Ancient wisdom. Oh, shit. We fancy to tap into this miracles right here. Shit. It says it, y'all. 39 miracles. Maybe somebody's 39. Maybe we have one, the magician. Okay, maybe it's going to be in January. Maybe it's going to be on the 1st. Shit. And a day. Ooh, miracles. Yay. Okay. Whew. Now, y'all know how this unfolds. Please continue to use wisdom and discernment and discretion. And please take care of yourself, because a lot of us are out here. This is some crazy shit. Okay, there's people literally trying to come for our lives every day. And I know people don't want to believe it. That's what's so fucked up, but that's the truth. Every day, whether this is by trying to sprinkle shit on us, or if they can get close to us, or put some shit, like every fucking day. Because now you got a bunch of people who mad. It's so many things happening. You got some folks now who mad because some stuff have been shut down. So they mad because now they feel like they lost opportunity and money. So then you got them. And then you got the ones that are still doing it for money.